elite shooter, one of the best in the country, currently shooting 50% from three. When he plays well, the Cavaliers generally play well. Although he's coming off the poorest shooting performance of the year against Memphis, where he was just 1 of 8. It was the first time this season that he didn't connect on a made three-point field goal.
McNeely has made at least 2 threes in 8 of the 11 games the Who's have played this season. They are going to try and get him going, and Tony Bennett said to us earlier today, we've got to find ways to get him off that three-point line, movement off the ball. Teams have played him a little bit more physically. He is a key to our season. We are ready to rock at the JPJ in Charlottesville, and the Who's, who have been oh so good in this building, control the rock.
Morgan State starts in man-to-man. That's really what Coach Kevin Broadus wants to do, but he knows he's going to have to switch it up tonight.
That's McNeely. Got a good look. Could not connect. Offensive rebounds for the Who's. They fell to Memphis 77-54 right before the holiday break. Tony Bennett saying they took us to the woodshed. Another three. That one short by Andrew Rohde. And in that game, Coach, Reece Beekman was fantastic, but they're trying to find other guys that they can get involved as you take a look at Morgan State's starting 5.
And a few new faces in that starting 5 for Morgan State. We'll talk more as the broadcast goes on due to illness and injury. But back to your point, Aria, they simply did. Reece Beekman didn't have any help that night. And the shooters need to shoot. The players inside need to do what they can, whether it's free those shooters or free for themselves.
Beekman continues to play like one of the best players in the country. That 3 ball goes down. It's Jake Groves, the transfer from Oklahoma. He has been up and down this season for the Who's, but when he goes hot, this Cavaliers team really takes a step forward.
Yeah, half his shots are behind the arc this season. 3 shots behind the arc to start this game for the Cavaliers.
Groves had 12 points against Memphis. That's another turnover created by Virginia, a team that has really been forcing turnovers this season as opposed to years past under Tony Bennett. He told us when we're able to do that, it gets us into transition, aids our offense. As that shot, Groves could not connect on the spin move high off the glass.
Well, they've been able to extend a little bit more this season because of their athleticism.
A young Virginia team that does have talent, that is athletic, but they have tried to find ways to get more cohesive.
Well, right now, it's all about the defense. They've just got to find a way to get better offensively.
Groves again from short range, not able to connect. Nice feed inside, but they've been able to rely on their defense still. Second in the country in opponent points per game allowed, a staple under Tony Bennett. He said it's always got to be defensive for us. It can never rest. It keeps us in games. Nice little floater there by Hobbs.
Hobbs, the lone returning starter for this Bears team. He is a solid guard. And again, because of some injury, some illness, he's going to need to be on top of his game against this Cavaliers perimeter defense.
Virginia 9-2 on the year. Not a lot of returners coming back. There's one, though, from Reece Beekman. 99th career start here this evening in Charlottesville. The best player the Who's have, the most experienced. And Tony Bennett saying this has been a good transition for him, turning into a leader. He hasn't had the opportunity to be passive this season. He has had to be the initiator for the Who's on offense.
Well, most importantly, he knows who he is. And yes, he has been more assertive in his 4th year.
Jumper there, not going to fall. Beekman, one of the best passers in the country. The reigning ACC Defensive Player of the Year as well. Jumper, deep, bang. There's Rohde. They need him to play well. A very talented transfer from St. Thomas.
He's been scoreless the last 2 games. Missing all 7 threes. He missed his first one here tonight. A good sign he was able to connect on that last one.
Count the basket and the foul.
Well, the Cavaliers able to get what they want at the offensive end. Rohde, that's a good sign when it...
Now, plays for Tony Bennett has thrived in his time with the Cavaliers. You just look at those numbers, Dean. I mean, it's incredible. One of the best home court advantages in all of college basketball.
Well, home sweet home for Tony Bennett, 15 years. There is a culture here, and it's no reason, no surprise why they are so good at home, the way they play at both ends of the court. A little bit of pressure here by the Bears, trying to force a little bit of tempo out of the Cavaliers. Now they'll have to watch it again because of a shorter bench. I don't know how much they can play for, 94 feet throughout the evening.
No doubt. Dean, what are your keys to the game here as we take a look first at Kevin Broadus? What do you want to see from both sides?
Well, for Morgan State, they've got to find some easy baskets. They simply can't afford long droughts, and they got to battle on the boards. This is an area, and we saw it before break there, where they may be able to steal a few baskets. I think for Virginia, right, they've got to have a little bit of rhythm on offense. Just 22 points in the second half in that last outing against Memphis. And they've got to impose their will. Look, by every measurable metric, they're bigger, stronger, faster, deeper. They just need to be dialed in their last tune-up before ACC really kicks in.
Well, Beekman's been dialed in since the beginning of the year. He's got another bucket. Tony Bennett called him Mr. Steady, our leader. Tested the NBA draft waters in the offseason, decided to come back. And the Cavaliers and their fans just excited for what he brings to the table. He has elevated his game. Nice defense again.
You've got to mentally be prepared to guard and face that defense for 20 to 25 seconds.
Mid-range Jane out there for Rohde. And the Bears clean the glass. Little runner. Rolls off the rim. Offensive rebound, stick back, not going to go. It'll stay with Morgan State. That's an area that Virginia is looking to try and improve upon as the year goes along, is the rebounding and have their work on the glass.
It absolutely is. And you see right there, they weren't able to corral that thing. Even though Morgan State didn't fully get it, they recycled the shot clock to 20, and they get another opportunity to put some points on the board. That's exactly what they need to do, and it's an area they can see some success throughout the night. But your point's well taken. Virginia's collectively, it's not just one guy rebounding better. Collectively, they all have to be better as they enter conference play.
It's been a storyline for them early on. Their fans, their media, coaching staff included. Who steps up in addition to Beekman? They've been able to rely on that defense. It forces shot clock violations like it did there. That guy is a pest in the lanes, and they appreciate those more than anyone in college basketball at the JPJ.
Beekman is just a classic old school point guard. He knows what to do at the offensive end. His assist to turnover, gaudy, 3.5 to 1. And then at the defensive end, and I think his wingspan and his size really helps him right there. He just bottled up Hobbs, had no idea where the shot clock was on that possession.
Rohde, nice drive, uses the glass to his advantage. Virginia up 7.
Rohde and McNeely both, they've got to get better, and they are better than they were 10 games ago, but putting it on the floor, that'll free them into some open shots on the perimeter.
It's a nice feed, but shuffling his feet. They're inside on the feed from Lawson. We talk about injuries, Dean. Coach, this Morgan State team is without some of its best players, including Winston Tabbs, who started his career at Boston College in the ACC.
And was a true ACC level player at that time, then transferred to East Carolina. Continued to put up numbers, but he has battled knee injuries at every stop, and that is what has him sidelined again tonight.
The hook from Buchanan. Not going to go, but the ball will stay with the Cavaliers. 2 starters are out for Kevin Broadus here this evening as you take a look. And Kieran Oliver, who provides some punch, out with a thumb injury too. It was always going to be an uphill challenge here tonight for Morgan State. But, Coach, it's going to take everybody. You even heard they might play some zone for large portions of the game to try and slow UVA down.
Yeah, and in speaking to Coach Broadus yesterday, he said, look, what we have to get better at, first of all, we got to get healthy, but we're defending better. This is just another opportunity for us to play a high-level game and get ready for what really matters most, and that's MEAC play.
How fun is Reece Beekman? That mid-range jumper is sweet. Another steal for the Cavaliers. It's number 3 on the night.
Nice job there by Murray defensively, having his head on a swivel.
Great feed from Rohde inside to Buchanan. He couldn't hold on. It was deflected out of bounds. But they love Blake Buchanan on this staff. 6'11" freshman from Idaho. Flashed earlier this season in Charlotte. 18.7 rebounds against the Gators of Florida. A bright future. It's a very talented nucleus that Tony Bennett is hoping turns into some experience. 3 top 100 players in the recruiting class here now in Charlottesville.
There's talent on this roster. Make no mistake, Buchanan be one of them. In time, he is a high-level ACC forward.
Late in the shot clock, got to get something up at the buzzer. Rims out. Virginia will hold on to the basketball.
And much like we talked about at the other end in that previous possession by Morgan State, Virginia not able to corral the rebound, but keep it alive. It goes off on the Bears, and they get another chance with 20 on the shot clock.
Bennett already deep into his bench. That shot was from Tane Murray. Only plays about 12 minutes a game. Leon Bond into the game as well.
Murray's a guy that's been productive in limited minutes this season. Give him credit. He has stuck around each year. He's gotten a little better. He's just playing behind some really good guards.
Forcing up a shot. There were the Bears. Shot clock had gone under 10. Great fundamental defense from the Cavs.
Udamato simply didn't know what to do. He picked up his dribble. Shot clock running down. Nothing easy for the Bears. And conversely, Virginia able to get some baskets, do what they want offensively. They haven't been connecting at a high rate. But that said, they still lead 14-5. Only Cavalier with true, game experience year over year. But when you lose guys like Jaden Gardner and Kay Clark and Vanderplas Franklin, I mean, they lost 50 points last year. That's a lot of firepower. It's going to take time. Thankfully, defense carries them, or has carried them. But they're going to have to get some flow and rhythm, and they're going to have to get better at that end to compete at a high level come ACC play.
Nice drive into the bucket for the Bears. Cuts the lead in half, but back to that inexperience for Virginia. 134th this season in D1 experience. If you look at Ken Pomeroy's metrics, 232nd out of 362 teams in minutes continuity, which takes into account how many returning minutes you have playing. Open look, 3-ball, count it for Groves. And now Virginia leads by double digits, but last season, Coach, 4th in D1 experience for Tony Bennett, 12th in minutes coming back, north of 71%. So that's been the difference for Bennett balling. You have to have experience. You have to have guys that have been in the system. As a blocking foul called on the Hoos.
Yeah, and you and I were talking to him earlier today, and he said, look, we went to Memphis. We got schooled. But whether you win or lose, in a tough environment, you're going to grow. And so he saw the positives, even though there weren't a lot in that Memphis game. And he wanted to get back and reestablish good basketball tonight.
Done that in the early going. Amari Simpkins misses the first free throw. Want to remind you, Friday right here on ACC Network, we'll have a men's basketball doubleheader. Miami hosting UNF at 6, and then 9th-ranked UNC. They host Charleston Southern to cap off the 2023 schedule. Can't wait to see what 2024 has in store for us. Dean, this league, it has taken a step forward. They've got some big non-conference victories. it's going to make conference play even more important with more opportunities for quad one wins in the net.
No question about it, right? The ACC, one of 3 leagues to have at least 6 teams in the net top 50.
Dunn fouled on the drive. He'll go to the line. Ryan Dunn, the sophomore. Some pegging him as a potential first-round pick in this year's NBA drafts. Defensively outstanding, right, Coach? Can get into the passing lanes. His offense continuing to develop, but you can see what scouts are dreaming on.
He's a big-time athlete, leads the team in rebounds and blocks, second in steals. A close second, I might add, to Reece Beekman. But one of the reasons they didn't redshirt him last year was because of his energy and just willingness to work. And you're still seeing that tenacity and energy grow. And to your point, as the offense comes along, he's almost a microcosm of this Cavalier team. As he gets better offensively, boy, his best basketball is ahead.
That 3 misses the mark. Saved back into play. The Bears recover. Drive. And the layup is good. That was Hobbs.
Nice job by Hobbs right there. And that was really the right thing to do. He had the Cavaliers kind of backpedaling right there and just attacked the rim.
17-10. Virginia over Morgan State. This is the 5th all-time meeting between the Bears and the Hoos. Shot blocked inside.
Nice roll to the basket by Dunn. I'm not quite sure though why, he wanted to go to the other side of the rim. I thought he should have taken it up initially without that little dribble inside. It really caused him to get in trouble.
Beekman tees it up. Bang. Oh, Reece Beekman. As good as it gets in this conference.
3rd team All-ACC selection last year. Every bit of that and then some this year. Make no mistake, he is the leader of this team.
He tried to keep Virginia in it on the road against Memphis last week. Still played pretty well, 13 points. Shared the basketball well, has always gotten his teammates involved. He is a prototypical Bennett point guard. That question now becomes, who steps up in addition? Because this kid is going to give you everything he's got each night out.
No, exactly right. Nice looking 3 right there. He is going to be throughout the record books when his career is over throughout UVA basketball. And I think they have called that it wasn't tipped. I don't know that on that pass, Rohde was trying to look at the corner and he's trying to say it was tipped, but officials think otherwise. But yeah, back to Beekman. Leads the ACC in steals, assist to turnover ratio. He is exactly the kind of point guard you want if you're Tony Bennett. For that matter, if you're at a high major school.
Top 10 in career assists for the Hoos is Beekman. That jumper misses the mark. Beekman also top 5 in steals. He's got the rock as he crosses midcourt.
You talked about his play last outing against Memphis. He did try to keep him in it. They just couldn't make, no one else could make shots. They were 1 of 10 behind the arc. McNeely couldn't make any. Rohde didn't make any. It became tougher and tougher in a really, really tough environment in Memphis.
Dunn, count it. And the foul. Ryan Dunn flexing his muscles, showing you his strength and tenacity.
He was really the only other Cavalier, as you see this again. Little shot fake to get Simpkins in the air and then finishes with strength. He did have a second career double-double in Memphis, 11 points, 11 rebounds. Some of those came too late, but you love everything about his work ethic as well.
Knocks down the bonus free throw. Ryan Dunn is one to watch. Only player in the top 35 in both blocks and steals in the country. Long, athletic, evolving offensive game.
It's becoming more and more difficult for the Bears as time ticks away here in the first half to get anything easy, even out of the double team.
Absolutely, Coach. Virginia has forced 5 turnovers as well. Make it 6 with the charge, and they are flying to the basketball. They're in control for offense to another level. Coach, they have done a wonderful job here of moving the basketball around and finding different guys. 3 different players have made a 3 for the Hoos.
And that's what Tony Bennett wants. He wants the go-to guy to be that open guy. And as you pointed out, they have shared it. And it's so key that they make shots behind the arc. You see it right there. 9 wins. They've shot just under 40%. Not so good in the losses. And you don't want to put it just on McNeely and Rohde, but those two have taken almost half the threes on the season for Virginia.
Great feed inside. Not able to finish, though, is Dunn. He did stay with it. Will go to the line.
Boy, to your point, a terrific pass by Andrew Rohde. Just kind of curled off that down screen, saw Dunn's man come with him, and threw it only where Dunn could catch it. Just couldn't finish. Boy, Ryan would like to have that one again. You know, both Rohde and
the sophomore.
Yeah, excuse me. I was going to say Rohde and McNeely. Those two shooting threes, they really have to play like they've got 3 lungs in ACC play, and that is they've got to continue to move without the ball to free themselves, but also sometimes to be decoy and move and free others.
Dean, that's been the key to Virginia, hasn't it, in years past? It's not always just one guy. It's 3, 4 guys that can beat you. Speaking of, wow, what a jumper there from the mid-range. Sweet stroke.
Well, a much-needed basket right there by the Bears. Just nothing easy.
Turnover, only the 2nd.
Beekman just lost concentration there for a minute on that one. That was unlike him on the pass into the post.
Coach, that was a problem for Virginia against Memphis. Great effort to get the steal. And save it. That was Gertrude, talented freshman. Now Beekman, unselfish, and it's done on the finish.
And that's Virginia basketball, turning defense into offense. To your point, Gertrude, they lifted that red shirt against Texas A&M, partly because of how well he was playing, but also with Dante Harris being out. A terrific individual move right there, saved the ball, kept it alive, and then gave it to Beekman, who passed it to Dunn, and he knows how to finish it inside.
Dunn's now got 6 points, 5 rebounds. Beekman, couple of assists. Looking for that backdoor cut. Intercepted, transition. Yam, oh, he missed it. Jordan Minor getting a few minutes in this game.
That one will show up tomorrow in the film room. They were running really a beautiful 3-on-1. Gertrude filled the left lane, Minor the right lane. But as you said, couldn't finish the dunk right there. Nonetheless, they were able to come back, get a stop, and reset again. Jordan Minor, a guy.
Force. That 3 off the mark.
Jordan Minor, a guy that really Coach Bennett wants to get more playing time. It's been difficult. 4-year player at Merrimack and co-player of the year last year, was the defensive player of the year in the NEC. Although playing predominantly zone, he has adapted well and quickly. And I think the biggest thing that Coach Bennett said is he's a better player than he is student athlete, and we know how talented he is as a player.
How about that pass? Inside and on the finish, Bond.
Nice cut by Bond. That's what good players do. When you're overplayed, you go back door. Nice cut, nice find.
16-point advantage. here for Virginia. Deep three launch off to the right. And McNeely grabs the board.
And that's what happens sometimes when you're playing this Virginia defense is, boy, that first look, even though it's maybe not be the shot you want a little deep, you take it because everything else is so hard.
Now a 13-2 run. Jordan Minor atones for the missed dunk. Virginia up 18.
Well, not much the Bears can do right now at either end. The Virginia defense has them flustered.
There we go again. Late in the shot clock, just 5. Lawson spinning, turning, throwing it up. He's fouled. But Virginia so far, Coach, has been fantastic on both sides of the ball.
They certainly have, and they've been finding the open man. Minor, Bond, who's up big.
How about some New Year's resolutions for Virginia? Dean, a program that has won the ACC for the last 6 years.
Yeah, they are the gold standard right now in the ACC. All due respect to Carolina, Duke, and others. Look, they've got to hit the glass. They've got to find shooters, and they've got to stay the course on defense. And what do we mean by that? You know, even without the experience up front, defense remains the cornerstone of Tony Bennett's program. There is an expectation of playing high-level basketball, but they've got to rebound better and they've got to shoot it better come ACC play when the calendar turns to 2024.
And to your point exactly, Coach, it's a Virginia team last year, top 40 in the country in cleaning the glass. They make it really hard for teams to have extra possessions, but then you look at this season, and they're 259th in the country in that same mark. That's definitely going to be an area they want to clean up before the start of conference play.
It is, and when you talk about hitting the glass and finding shooters, sometimes that goes hand in hand. When you're not shooting well, go rebound and clean up those offensive misses for second chance opportunities.
30-13, Lawson splits the free throws. He leads the Bears with 5 points. Inside out play, turnover. Deflected into transition. It'll stay with the Bears. Nice work by Bond getting back on defense.
Bond's a guy that he redshirted last year. It really helped him. As you see there with the steal.
Oh, how about it? Behind the back. Up and around. That was nice from Leon Bond, a talented top 70 consensus recruit coming out of high school. He has flashed in games this season.
And think about that, you know, a top 100, top 70 guy redshirting in this day and age of the transfer portal. It's just very unique, but you know, I find it very refreshing. You love everything about Tony Bennett's program.
Murray cleans the glass. Tane Murray from New Zealand. Oh, there you go. Minor flying in for the jam.
And he made sure he didn't miss that one.
Timeout taken by Morgan State.
It is all Cavaliers right now. Jordan Minor, a microcosm of what they're doing here in Charlottesville.
Virginia stifling on the defensive end. Coach, 1 field goal made in the last 7 minutes for Morgan State, none in the last 4 minutes plus.
And unfortunately, Kevin Broadus just doesn't, he looks down that bench and doesn't have a lot of options right now. But you're exactly right. The defense just smothering the Bears right now. Not sure.
Case in point yet again.
I'm not sure if Dunn got a hand on that. He certainly altered the shot.
And Beekman, no issues driving to the rack. He's into double figures. He's got 11.
Well, at least through the first 18 minutes, not quite done with the first half. It's the kind of game that can get that bad taste out of your mouth. after what happened in Memphis. Yep.
Rohde, there you go. Andrew Rohde from way downtown.
You see the Bears without a field goal in the last 5+ minutes. They've tried to create some good spacing. They just can't get any driving lines. Hard hedge there by Dunn. Love how the Cavaliers just move their feet.
Bond rejected. Lawson on the drive. Virginia now in this one with 2 blocks to go along with 6 steals.
And Beekman, excuse me, the kind of guy that can keep everybody together, even in a game like this, where it stays structured and they continue to run what they want to run. Look, this is one of those prepare for war in times of peace games. It isn't necessarily about today, it's about ACC play and getting things right.
Bond's got 6. Lawson from deep, he's got 8 after that triple.
He was on the all-rookie team in the MEAC last year. And if you can get Cameron Hobbs, Rob Lawson, and the injured Winston Taps back, you've got a nice backcourt.
How nice was that, Coach? That is as good as it gets. Ryan Dunn with authority. He's fouled yet again, finishing a basket.
You see some holiday cheer and smiles in the crowd. Well, the Cavaliers just getting what they want offensively right now. The Bears unsure if they should trap, hard hedge. Makes no difference. Beekman finding the open man.
Dunn has struggled from the line, now 2 of 6 from the charity stripe. It hasn't been that charitable to Virginia this season. Rare to see a Tony Bennett team struggle from the free throw line. We end the half with a brick there from Morgan State. Coach, so far, after one stanza, so good for Tony Bennett and the Hoos.
Absolutely, although Bennett and staff will find things that they need to clean up. Look, this is a game that's helping get that bad taste out of their mouth from Memphis. They're gaining some confidence. They've played 10 guys. But really, you want to see it all. You want to continue to see that defense, that nationally ranked defense that's only second to Houston in scoring. But you also want to see them sharing the basketball and making good decisions at the offensive end.
Virginia shot 53% in that first half. And they lead by 27. Nice start to the second for the Bears.
That was Trent Edwards out of Lexington, Kentucky. Broadus and staff are really high on that freshman. 6'8", said he just needs some strength and game experience.
Beekman. Left corner, step back jumper. McNeely still trying to find ways to get going. He has struggled over the last 3 games.
He really has. He's had at least 2 made threes in all but 2 games. But he's hit a little bit of a wall here, and you don't know if it's mentally or not. For great shooters like Isaac, just needs to see it go through the hoop behind the arc one time.
Nearly 3rd in the country in 3-point field goal percentage, 50% on the year coming in. Had a stretch where he hit 6 threes in back-to-back games. Well, Rohde missed everything on his attempts.
Well, when you talk of the great shooters in ACC history, and there have been a ton, Curtis Staples, Dennis Scott, J.J. Redick. I mean, the list goes on and on. A guy like Isaac McNeely, I'm not ready to put him in that category yet, but he has to have that mindset, that confidence, and have that short memory. Get to the next shot, whether the last one went in or not.
3 ball there is good. Now it's 21. Christian Oliver, how about the 7-footer? Showing you the range.
Well, if you're Kevin Broadus, you like what you see out of your guys. They're not hanging their heads. They're trying to just chip away at this thing and gain some confidence. in the second 20 minutes.
Pretty nice feed there from Groves to Dunn, who could not connect from short distance. Dunn is on double-double watch. 8 points, 7 rebounds, another 3 back-to-back. It's going to fall for the Bears. That's Lawson. Check that, Hobbs, who let it fly. Cameron Hobbs, the 5'10" redshirt junior from Stockbridge, Georgia.
The Cavaliers a little flat-footed at the defensive end.
Beekman into the painted area, turnaround as good as Gold's. Reece Beekman, solid, steady. You can always count on him.
And that's who you go to when you need a basket. They had gone 2.5 minutes of this second half without scoring. Beekman takes it upon himself, and you hope that that offense can now turn into good defense.
11th turnover forced by this Virginia defense. One of the best in the country. Great feed, finish not there, but Groves was fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Nice job by Groves. Just stepped in front of that Morgan State defender. Had a size advantage, just not a lot of resistance. The only thing Lawson could do was foul him.
That one rattles out for Groves. As you get set to ring in the new year on Sunday, we'll have a women's basketball quadruple header right here on ACCN that starts at noon Eastern. It's 21st ranked Florida State hosting Wake, and then number 14 Notre Dame squares off against Syracuse, followed by 19th ranked Louisville taking on the Canes, and we cap the day with 3rd ranked NC State and Virginia. We wish everyone a happy new year. Virginia, a big one coming up here on the ladies' side.
Well, and as good as it is on the men's side, it's equally that good on the women's side in ACC play.
Another turnover forced. NC State, Wes Moore has himself yet another dynamite squad coming in to the JPJ this season.
Not mistaken, the Wolfpack are undefeated at 11-0. To your point, should be one heck of a game here.
3-ball launch, there you go. And finally, Isaac McNeely sees one drop. That's got to feel good for the sophomore.
Well, he caught that in rhythm. His hands were ready. The pass was right on target.
Whew, turnaround jumper. Hobbs.
I'm telling you now, if they can get Winston Tabbs back, and you put Hobbs, Lawson, and Tabbs, that is a very, very good backcourt in the MEAC.
Rohde lines one up. Too strong. Morgan State cleans up the boards. Last year went 7-7 in conference play in the MEAC. Had an opportunity to go to France for 10 days this offseason. But the injuries have been tough for Broadus and the rest of his group.
And that's what hurt him last year. Isaac McNeely, one of the best shooters in the country. He struggled just a little bit. Not on that one. Hands were set, caught it in rhythm. Cavs still lead big.
Well, at the JPJ, you're going to have some stars that come to watch some of the best basketball in the country. Chris Long, former Who great on the defensive side of the ball. And then you got Ed Scott, Carla Williams taking in the game.
And already a little side note there for Carla Williams, a terrific director of athletics. Spent many years at University of Georgia. But Ed Scott, the deputy AD, he hired Kevin Broadus at Morgan State when he was the athletic director.
Probably proud of watching Beekman finish through the contacts. I'll go to the line for one more.
I'll watch it again. He signals for the lob, but the pass came really in the right area. Finished with contact there. talking to Kevin Brodus, both he and Ed Scott were together at Binghamton many years ago. Ed Scott there he is on the right. Again, deputy AD at the University of Virginia. He will be an athletic director again at a Power 5.
So told Tony Elliott's been walking around, taking in the game here tonight as well. Virginia head coach on the football side. It's been a complete performance. Another turnover forced. That's something Virginia can rely on, as Beekman putting his man into motion, saucing him up, kick out. McNeely's got one this half, that time not going to go. Open three, missed everything for the Bears.
And there's a long way to go for the Bears to fight back, but boy, a terrific inside-out pass by Udamadu.
Speaking of great passes, Beekman and Dunn ripped away, though. Just the 4th turnover for Virginia here tonight, a team that has protected the basketball under Tony Bennett. It feels like most years, that's what made last week so different, as a 3-ball goes down for Lawson, but 18 turnovers against the Tigers for Virginia, uncharacteristic, and Memphis really made him pay. Penny Hardaway's got a good group, Dean. I mean, that's going to be a tough out, a team that could make a deep run in the NCAA tournament as well.
There's no doubt about it. Some may say, that conference isn't Power 5. That program is every bit of Power 5, or Power 6, if you consider the Big East in college basketball.
Memphis has 3 straight ranked victories for the first time since 2008. You might remember what they did that year with Derrick Rose.
Well, Memphis handed Clemson their only loss this year. The Tigers having a terrific season at 9-1.
First free throw goes down. Do want to remind you that tomorrow Bowl Mania rolls on right here on ACCN with Command Center broadcasts of the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium between Miami and Rutgers at 2:15 Eastern, and the Pop-Tarts Bowl at 5:45 Eastern with NC State squaring off against Kansas State. You'll get multiple game angles with real-time player and team stats throughout both games.
You gotta love those bowl game sponsors. I love to see it every year as some stay the same, but others change.
Love the games themselves, Dean. I don't know how easy it was to read all of those in the promo. It's a mouthful. Good ball movement. McNeely knocks down his 2nd triple of the half.
And that's what we're talking about, right? The previous possession, not so good. Great shooters have short memories. And that's exactly what McNeely did right there. He was in rhythm. They had good ball movement. Forced a long closeout. He was open and knocked it down.
Tony Bennett was candid. He said teams have gotten physical with him. They're trying to run him off the line. Just trying to throw him off his game. And the key now for us is how do we get McNeely open? How do we find ways to have better off-ball movement? How do we attack closeouts? How does he get his teammates involved? He's a marked man, said Tony Bennett, as Bond will go to the line.
Well, there's a couple of things he can do. He's got to continue to take the brakes off. That is, run the floor hard and continue. He can't stand. Great shooters, play with 3 lungs, constant movement. He's got to learn how to pop, curl, fade off of screens. And then when the opportunity presents itself, he's also got to be able to put it on the floor. Maybe not all the way to the rim, but 1 or 2 dribbles to free himself for a mid-range or to find others. And he will. He is a talented player. I mean, we're talking about him as though he's had, 3 or 4 bad games. He just had 1 for 8, 0 for 5 behind the arc game in a really tough environment against a really good team in the Memphis Tigers.
At 12 threes in 2 games. Shades of Kyle Guy. in those games. So they're going to try and continue to get McNeely going. There's a foul on the floor. We'll come back. Virginia leading big. Virginia taking on Morgan State for the 5th time in program history. Here's what you need to know about the Bears. The largest HBCU in Maryland. You see the enrollment. Couple of NCAA tournament appearances out of the MEAC, and known on the football side of things for having some Hall of Famers. How about 9-time Pro Bowler Rosie Brown, also a Charlottesville native, and they honor Rosie here in Charlottesville, a street named after him. A lot of great football for the Bears. And guys like Lynn Ford, Leroy Kelly. And you see Roosevelt Brown Jr., born in 1932 in Charlottesville. But, Dean, a lot of good basketball at Morgan State as well.
There absolutely is. Right? I think many longtime Who's followers know the name Marvin Webster, the human eraser. And Clarence Big House Gaines. Just a couple of the really, really good basketball players. Great history here athletically for Morgan State.
Pretty athletic block there of Leon Bond. To the paint. Double team comes, turnaround jumper, that goes down. And coach, Morgan State's outscoring Virginia 17-13 here in the second half.
Well, they've cut back on the turnovers somewhat. They've had better spacing, but I think for them it's been solid for the most part at the defensive end. They have been better than they were in that first half, where they allowed the Cavaliers really anything that they wanted.
On the offensive end, they've shot 75% this half. And stepping in, ending the run, Murray, straightaway bomb.
He's had 7 points on a couple of occasions this season. He's a good role player, and I mean that respectfully for a guy like that. Kind of understands his role and plays it well.
Member of the New Zealand national team is Tane Murray. Hails from Auckland.
His dad played for the All Blacks. My guess is there's a little bit of toughness in there as well, if there's any DNA passed along.
Free throw line, jumper, not there for Bonds. Keeping it alive, Buchanan. Murray, no. Buchanan again, trying to do it himself. 3 opportunities for Virginia that time.
Morgan State dodged a bullet right there. Buchanan making himself known here in these minutes in the second half. Couldn't get it to go down, but came back defensively, ran in transition, ran to the paint, defended appropriately, just couldn't come up with a steal, but got the deflection.
Buchanan, a top 80 consensus recruit. We talk about the youth of this Virginia team and the 2 losses that they've had. They've gone up against Wisconsin and Memphis, who had a combined 3 underclassmen in their rotations. And when you look at Virginia, who we've shown you has 6 players that they count on that are underclassmen, was reading Streaking the Lawn, which is a great SB Nation site that Virginia has. They do a phenomenal job. But breaking down the youth that this Virginia team has and just how much room they have to grow, you're hoping for a team that, again, peaks in February, but there's talent there. And Tony Bennett knows it. He said we've got to be patient with them, which is why we are focusing on quality basketball. It's not going to always be quantitative, right? Where we're not going to be able to sit there and say we need this many number of steals or blocks or closeouts or shot clock violations. We are focusing on the fundamentals right now as we continue to get better and better.
Well said. Coach Bennett and staff, they love this team, right? And for good reason. And they just need to continue to put the pieces together. To your point, you can't lose almost 50 points a game in what they lost in game experience and points last year and expect things just to pick up where they left off, when really Reece Beekman is the only guy with quality minutes. But of these 6 youngsters that are playing, 3 freshmen, 3 sophomores, they're going to be just fine.
Long range 3 again. Morgan State continues to shoot lights out in this second half. Look at that number, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. A lot of that coming here in the second stanza. Beekman left it short. Dunn closing in on a double-double. He couldn't follow.
The Bears pushing it a little bit more in the second half.
They'll be rewarded going to the line on the follow-up attempt there by a 13, Trent Edwards. He has flashed, the freshman from Lexington.
That
59-37, Virginia after it. Always a packed house here in Charlottesville at the JPJ, one of the great venues in college basketball. Rebounding an area, Dean, that Coach Bennett wanted to see his team take a step forward in. He said, we have struggled in that area, especially in our losses. So far tonight, they have stepped up to the challenge.
They have, you know, but part of the problem is the competition is going to elevate when they get to the ACC. And yes, those numbers are trending in the right direction today. But when you look at the numbers against their peers in the ACC, offensive rebounds per game and defense rebounds per game, they're last in the ACC. And Coach Bennett knows that they have the opportunity to collectively get better. It's not 1 or 2 guys. It is everybody across the board is going to have to carry the load. This is going to have to be one of those years where, you know, they may have 4 or 5 guys that get 4 or 5 rebounds apiece. They may not have one that gets double digits.
3-ball knocked down by Groves. The 9th for Virginia here tonight.
And Groves is a prime example. 6'9". He's never been a great rebounder, at least statistically, at any other stops at Eastern Washington or Oklahoma. But he can go get you 4 or 5 in the minutes he plays.
It'll be a jump ball possession arrow to Virginia. Well, Coach, you mentioned it earlier, right? You can't just lose guys like Jaden Gardner, Ben Vanderplas, Kihei Clark, Armand Franklin, and you just don't miss a beat, right? This group is going to have to continue to gel and get better. They don't have a lot of points coming back on the year, and that's why, in addition to Reece Beekman, they need some of these youngsters to step up, but it's been there in stretches. Big wins over Texas A&M, big win over Florida. There have been flashes of what this group can do, and that end result could be pretty nice.
I think you're exactly right. You know, they've got some quality wins. And to some extent, the ACC sets up about as well as you could ask for. Right? They'll begin play next week at Notre Dame, and then they come home to Louisville. And while every conference game is a season unto itself, you know, you open with those 2, and then you've got some other home games sprinkled in. I think it's about all you could ask for at this point.
62-38, Morgan State. Coach, the 3 balls falling for the Hoos tonight.
Well, they have been, and that's a reason why they've got this big lead against the Bears. Holiday cheer for the Hoos.
Here on the fast break.
Cookies, okay, solid choice there. As Virginia leads big over Morgan State. Holiday time, a chance for great foods. The desserts are always aplenty. Dean, what's your favorite holiday dessert?
I don't think there's any question. It's my wife's harvest cookies. By the way, I'm going to have one right now.
What's in that?
I know I lost you at oatmeal and craisins. It's too good to pass up.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you can't go wrong with pecan pie and vanilla ice cream. I think that combination is a winner. But I'm glad you're enjoying your cookie, Dean. No doubt about that one.
I'll stop eating now, and we'll get back to the game.
Virginia leading Morgan State big. 6 minutes plus left to play.
And if you're Tony Bennett, you want your guys to finish as strong as you started, right? You don't want any dip here in the last 6 minutes. You want to feel good about this performance overall.
Defense to offense. Beekman, finger roll. He's got 17. Timeout taken on the floor, so we'll stay.
Had a great holiday. Love this time of year. Bowl season. More importantly, we are in just the throes of college hoops. And I'm just less than a week away from all conferences really getting into league play. Not a better time of year. And McNeely, right, he continues to look for that open shot. Couple of substitutions coming out of the break there. Tony Bennett wanting to get Jordan Minor into the game, along with Elijah Gertrude. And as mentioned before that last time out, it's important that the Cavaliers stay aligned and stay consistent and true to their defensive and offensive principle right here in the last 4+ minutes.
Late in the shot clock. That doesn't fall.
It'll stay Morgan State ball. We talked about Jordan Minor in the first half. Transfer from Merrimack. Was the co-player of the year. Mark my word, he's gonna make his mark in ACC play. It may not be over the course of the 20-game schedule, but there's going to be some games where he's going to be called upon and he will step up.
Nice layup. And the finish. 66-40.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kevin Brodus just couldn't apply really the pressure that he wanted to. We saw some glimpses in the first half because of a limited bench. It's been tough sledding for the Morgan State Bears against this Virginia Cavalier team.
Bond now into double figures. He's got 10. Virginia approaching 70 points.
Bond out of position on that play. One of the few mistakes the Cavaliers have made in the second half. We'll finish it up in just a minute.
Reactions from coaches and players. Well, Dean, going to be interesting, man.
Who are you picking in that one?
So I'm an alum of Florida State. Not ashamed to say it. That's going to be difficult for the Noles, though, with all the players that have opted out. It seems like it's close to about 70% of the starters. It would have been an uphill battle without Jordan Travis, even if everyone had opted in. I think this is going to be difficult, but we'll see. This is a chance for Florida State. I do think if you win, changes things perception-wise, but you know what? It is what it is. It has been a tough season for FSU after going undefeated. Essentially got told that their regular season didn't matter. Whether you agree with the pick of Bama over the Noles or not, or Texas getting in, you did tell a college football team that their regular season had no meaning. And I think that's tough. That's tough as an alum to hear. It's tough for those kids who put in blood, sweat, and tears. And quite honestly, it's not fair. And I think it's bad for sports. But we're here to talk Virginia, Morgan State. I won't get into a diatribe on that. I will be in attendance for the Noles and the Dogs, having to do my football radio duties with Florida State. But we'll see what Tony Elliott can do here with Virginia. Get a couple of wins, a big one over North Carolina, and hopefully something positive to build on into next year for the Hoos on the gridiron.
Yeah, well said. And back to the Orange Bowl. As a former Georgia Tech basketball assistant, my heart lies with the Ramblin' Wreck. So I don't know that I can root for the Bulldogs in anything. There's no hatred on my part, but I've got to cheer for FSU, and in particular what you mentioned, what happened or didn't happen.
No doubt. Speaking of Tech, how about Brent Key? The job that he did. You cap off with a bowl win there over UCF. I think the Ramblin' Wreck's got something to be proud of as they move forward into year 2 for him.
Well said. Great energy, great staff, and I think on the men's basketball side of things, I think Damon Stoudemire's got something going on. Blend of some old, some transfers, and even newcomers. Bayandongo, 6'9" freshman, has been Rookie of the Year twice now in ACC non-conference play.
Jumper goes down, 72-44. It's been a great holiday season in the ACC. I want to shout out my family as well, coming all the way from London, from the United Kingdom. Arash, Angelique, Cheyenne, we love you. And these Hoos, as they move into the new year, a lot to be proud of, a lot to build on. Elijah Gertrude, athletic, talented, top 65 consensus recruit. Tony Bennett loves what this kid is going to bring to the table as he continues to mature. They burned his red shirt this season, Coach. They're hoping that he can end up being a big contributor for them in that rotation.
And he certainly will, much like Ryan Dunn, an elite athlete. And that's even with the torn ACL his senior year in high school. Because of that injury to Dante Harris. As you said, they lifted the red shirt prior to that November 29th game when the Cavaliers played and beat Texas A&M here at John Paul Jones.
Always good when you can get deep into your bench. The fans are happy to see Tristan Howe into the game, the senior. He's from Virginia Beach. He's 42 as well, Bryce Walker. There you go. There's Tristan Howe getting into the scorer's column.
And why not? You know, why look to pass it? Minute to go. You got a 15-footer at the elbow. Go ahead and take it, big fella.
Dean, what's impressed you most about Virginia here tonight as they put a ribbon on non-conference play and move into the new year in ACC play?
Well, really the only true negative was just 5 of 11 from the free throw line. And they're just over 50%, if my math is correct, in the last 3 games. So, you know, I think that's an area we've talked a lot about, the rebounding piece. But they showed some good things defensively. They showed some good things offensively. And so I think if you're Tony Bennett, you saw enough to be happy and get that bad taste out of your mouth after that loss 8 days ago to Memphis. But again, it can't be overstated. And after 15 years, Bennett knows things are for real starting next week when you travel to Notre Dame. Or I should say later this weekend.
Notre Dame, Louisville, NC State, first 3 games. You got a chance, I think, to start with a bang if you're Virginia. And into conference action. Nice outlet pass. Minor, Euro step, missed the layup. The offensive rebound by Gertrude. They would love to see Walker get into the scorer column. Jumper, Walker lets it fly, there it is! Happy New Year, Virginia.
That kind of completes it for the Cavaliers, doesn't it, my friend?
It does, Dean. It has been a lot of fun here tonight. And Virginia is going to go into the new year with 10 non-conference wins, a masterclass, and a blowout of Morgan State.